I have a fantastic dream for the environment.
My dream for Guyana is...
I dream of an environment that is...
I dream of a day where...
Guyana is celebrating World Environment Day, this year amid the renewed sense of purpose for the environment. The theme for 2015 focuses on how the well-being of humanity, the environment, and economies ultimately depends on the responsible management of the planet's natural resources.
The theme of this year's observance is 7 billion dreams, 1 planet, consume with care. Humanity continues to consume far more natural resources than the planet can sustainably provide. Many of the Earth's ecosystems are nearing critical tipping points. It is time for us to change. The goal of sustainable development is to increase the quality of life for all people without increasing environmental degradation and without compromising the resource needs of future generations. We can do this by shifting our consumption patterns towards goods that use less energy, water, and other resources, and by wasting less food. In this year of transformation, when we hope to see great advances on sustainable development and climate change, let us celebrate World Environment Day by becoming more conscious of our ecological impact. Let us think about the environmental consequences of the choices we make. Let us become better stewards of our planet.
All across the capital city, Georgetown, citizens and businesses are busy cleaning up the parapets, drains, canals, and vacant lots. Everyone seems to be doing their part to keep the environment clean.
Basically here on Camp Street, cleaning up the Camp Street environment right by the avenue here, and we basically this is the Guyana Beautification Project, and we're trying our best to start something that will be phenomenal within the whole country and eventually within the universe. We want the environment to be, sustainable. We must hand over something better to our generation. We need a lot more community service. If you charge for any petty crime, anything of vandalism, anything of the sort, we need people to start doing community service, and I think we would learn as a country, we would learn as a nation to stop littering.
I think we are at a stage where the Guyanese population have to decide whether or not they're okay with the society as it is. I believe that we must come to a point where we no longer accept littering, where we no longer, whether or not bins are around, we'll just drop things because, we don't feel like carrying it anymore. I dream of a day where businesses will place more emphasis on keeping their environment, their surroundings clean, and finding better ways of disposing of their waste and garbage. I know that as it is right now, we are in the process of trying to keep the environment clean by doing some cleanups here, but it can only be sustained if every individual, every person makes it their mandate to also do their little bit to keep the environment clean.
I dream of an environment that is green, that is clean, an environment where the air is fresh, where we're not, our noses are not being bombarded by the stench of urine and the likes, garbage and so on. But however, I also have a deep desire, and that desire is to see people take on the responsibility of cleaning the environment. I mean, after all, we have aided in the pileup of garbage around the city. We've become dependent on the government to do the cleaning. We think that because the grass is growing too high, it's a government responsibility. I mean, in your own space, in front of your house, your drain, your parapet, just take that responsibility and come out and clean and help to protect your environment.
I'm out here today because I would like to see my country restore itself to the garden city and stop looking like the garbage city. So I'm out here with other individuals to lend a hand to restore the cleanliness, to make our country look green and clean all over again. I would like to have our country to have a recycling plant where we can start to recycle these bottles that we find around the place. You know, that's one of the biggest steps that our country could make in keeping it clean.
"7 billion people, one planet, consume with care." The message there is that Earth's resources are limited, particularly in the view of how many people have to share these resources. The more people we have, the more pressure they will put on the Earth's resources, and therefore we have to be conscious in terms of how we use these resources, whether it's water, whether it's energy, whether it's food, our land, our forestry resources. Because if we do not consume with care, there may be a time when Earth's resources will not be able to support its population. So the theme this year is actually bringing attention to resource limits, resource overuse, and the impacts of such overuse for the population now and in the future. Our vision is that everyone is conscious that we are reliant on the environment. We need the environment for all our needs, and therefore we have a responsibility to ensure that we utilize it with care. We should not litter. We should try to maintain a clean environment. We should follow the rules that exist in terms of utilizing our resources, our biodiversity resources, our forestry resources. The way we operate our factories should be within the rules and the regulations. And so we want our Guyanese public to become more knowledgeable about the role of the environment, the services that the environment provides for us as humans, and the interlinkage that we have with the environment.
My dream for Guyana is a litter-free country. I would like to see the country back to the most beautiful country I've seen, as I went to the National Archive, and we've seen pictures of Guyana having trees along Camp Street, having trees along central Georgetown, seeing no litter, seeing there's no flood. And the only way we can achieve this is by first starting with ourselves. Persons need to make it their moral right to stop littering, to try to keep their garbage in their bags, or throw it in the closest and the nearest bin that is provided. We also would like to see these achievements starting by children going to school. You need to start enforcing and educating children from when they're small, so when they grow up, they shall not depart from what they actually know. We would like to see our community members actually getting involved in keeping their area clean. And if for sure by somebody is actually littering, you can actually encourage that person not to litter. That's the only way we're going to get through and actually get Guyana to the place it was before.
I would like to see Guyana brought back to the state where it was when I was a youngster. Anybody that would pass, in those days we lived to tell it Georgetown, it's a cliche to say it, but Georgetown was a garden city. This can only be achieved, we can only achieve this if each and every one of us play a part in restoring Georgetown. It starts with each and every one of us.
We can see that we have a crisis of litter in the country, and I think by working together to rid the country of this problem, we can achieve both a cleaner Guyana and a more united people.
Our very existence depends on a healthy environment. My dream, therefore, is to have an environment that meets and sustains the needs of present and future generations.
I have a fantastic dream for the environment. I will practice sustainable utilization of our natural resources. I will promote equal distribution of wealth and maintain a clean and vibrant environment. The cornerstone for my dream is centered around love, unity, and respect for each other.
On behalf of the Solid Waste Management Department, the Main City Council, and on behalf of the City Council itself, I'd like to wish the entire Guyana a very happy World Environmental Day 2015. We know this day is very significant in terms of that we try to mobilize and try to raise awareness in terms of keeping the surrounding clean and to preserve the environment. One wish that we have, from my personal view of City Council of Georgetown, where we are mandated by law to upkeep, is to have restoration of the Garden City. Right? If you look around now, we have a lot of mobilization going on with a different set of groups, and I'm very appreciative of the efforts that they're doing in terms of bringing back some amount of glory to the citizens of Georgetown. My department will work tirelessly with every group to continue this effort, and also we want to show you that we have mandated all ourselves at City Council by December of 2015, we would have restored Georgetown to its glory. One effort that we plan on this day is that we would have come together with the businesses along Waterloo Street, is to first clean Waterloo Street and to desilt the entire drainage area. And on this day, we're going to plant flower plants along the avenue. So we like to see the citizens of Georgetown change behavior. We must have a behavior change, because the wanton dumping of refuse on the roadside should not be. And that's one of the things that we are aiming very specifically to, is putting these large dumpsters that you see in the background here in the most vulnerable areas where you have dump sites. Right? So we're going to ask every citizen to work with us to restore Georgetown to its once pristine image.
I am appealing to the community to please pick up your litter. Do not throw your garbage all over the place, because we're trying to clean up Guyana. If you see a bin, put your garbage in. Encourage your fellow citizens to do it, especially our customers. We're appealing to you. Please help us in this initiative of keeping our country clean and beautiful. Also, other businesses, we would like you to get on board with what we've done. We've started to clean up, and we like you to do the same. And not just clean, but keep it clean. We want you to help us ensure our environment is one that we're all proud of.
One of the things that we like to see more happening across Guyana, especially from businesses, is to do their part. We recently introduced our e-billing system, where we email receipts that cuts down our paper use, and pretty soon we're going to be launching our Go Green campaign, which we're going to be cutting out plastic bags. So we just like to see more of that happening from businesses at home. You guys at home, what you can do is just equip yourself with more tools to clean your environment, and literacy is always a very important part.
Definitely the littering on the everyday basis. The littering, train the children so that they know about garbage sorting and trying to recycle our garbage. The water, making sure that, well, we see today as we are a little flooded, the drains, everything is important. We have to keep our environment clean, and the green generation of green energy. I believe this is something that can be done. There are services which are available in neighboring countries, and they have the technology, they have all the knowledge that could be brought into Guyana, and I think it's something that we need to do now. We shouldn't miss the train for the environment, try to save this for future generations.
The need to protect the environment has seen the birth of new ideas and creative but yet effective ways of inspiring change among Guyanese.
My vision for our country is a zero litter country, where littering becomes the abnormal thing, and where there's a collective effort to keep and maintain a healthy environment. That businesses will take more responsibility for their environments, that citizens where they live will take greater responsibility for the upkeep of those environments as well. And that collectively we would have a very, very beautiful country, and we would return to that phrase that we all know. We have a garden city and a superb, pristine country where littering and garbage disposal and solid waste management in general is concerned.
The United Nations Environment Programme says human prosperity need not cost the earth. Living sustainably is about doing more and better with less.
The UNDP office in Guyana joins with the UN Secretary General in calling on all Guyanese to embrace this message. Guyana is blessed with abundant and biologically productive land and water. However, as we have seen around the world, unsustainable use of these resources has resulted in many of the Earth's ecosystems nearing critical tipping points. Land and marine degradation, declining soil fertility, water scarcity, and overfishing are all lessening the ability of the natural resource base to supply food and water to absorb waste. In this 2015 year of transformation, we as UNDP and Guyana's leading sustainable development partner hope to see Guyana continue along the sustainable development pathway. Let us celebrate World Environment Day by becoming more conscious of our abundant natural resources and the ecological impact of their misuse. Let us become better stewards of our country. Happy World Environment Day 2015.
Garbage is bad news for Guyana. It's bad for health, it's bad for the economy, it's bad for society. We have to turn the corner on garbage. We have to turn the corner on solid waste management. We have to turn the corner on littering. The most important problem that garbage creates is the problem of poor health. Garbage, when accumulated, would create breeding grounds for mosquitoes, and mosquitoes bring disease. Vector-borne diseases have been the plague of Guyana. Dengue fever, cholera, filaria, and malaria. Once there's garbage, there are going to be breeding grounds for mosquitoes. Once there are breeding grounds for mosquitoes, there's going to be disease. So the best course of action is not to litter.
Everyone that calls this planet home has a role to play. Here in Guyana, citizens are showing they are definitely up to the task.